This is our Unconstitutional Awakening program. Liftoff will start in T-minus 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have ignition. Brought to you by KD Consulting Redesign.
Ahoy there, mateys. It's time to set sail on another episode of Unconstitutional Awakening, the podcast. Of course, you guys know we're continuing spooky month, so hopefully everyone's digging the drab for this evening. I decided to go full pirate with it. And tonight we got some good stuff going on. We brought my buddy John Dodsworth back over here, Canadian John, for those of you that know him over there on TikTok and such, who recently had to start another TikTok because they got him again, so... You guys, we'll make sure we get those links up so that you can find that, of course. But me and him were talking in messages the other day about deep fakes, and we were like, "Hey, man, let's talk about this on the show and stuff." And even Luis made good mention before we started about how deep fake could actually cause like the next war. Like these things are super advanced. So I'm not sure how many folks are out there are really familiar with deep fakes, but it's something I've been kind of onto for a while because in reality, it's not new technology. It's just getting cheaper, so it's becoming more mainstream, where it's it's definitely something that's probably been around for a good hot minute. Tonight, of course, with me I got Neptune, Luis, and Bandit. How are you guys doing this evening up there?
Outstanding.
Luis, how are you, buddy? You're quiet. Is everything okay?
Just pissed.
There we go. So, John, how has it been since last we talked, buddy?
Well, I haven't had any tires fly off my car, so we're good there. That's a check. No dog fights, which is good. I'm a little concerned with the state of the world right now, given that there was an explosion in South Korea about 4 hours ago, the missing nuclear sub, missiles flying over Japan. But other than that, I'm peachy keen, my friend. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
That's awesome, good stuff. We might, I bet we have reason to pull that into tonight's conversation. So we'll make sure we bring some more into about that because you're right. That is some pretty spicy, hot off the top information there.
A little spicy.
Yeah. I mean, like I've told people before in the past, we actually had a woman try to help us with this explanation in a way, but it just went awry. A lot of things in history aren't taught very time frame wise, and you don't really understand the timeline of history. Like there's different things going on at different times, and I think that's because there really not only really is, but there's you're getting news sources from different countries and stuff like that, and everything we got here in America is propagated in a half. So there's no telling what's on the news, currently that happened months ago and such like that. Like it's wild nowadays when it comes to the way that propaganda works.
It's disturbing, Jim Bob, I'll tell you. And it's, I wouldn't call myself a newsman, but just having a little taste of that. God, I get excited when bad shit's happening. Because you want to know what? That's great. That's content, baby. And that is the sick little bug we call, what do you call that? Capitalism, humanity, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But in reality, isn't that what like all of this terrible stuff meant to do? Like it's meant to profit off of.
Right.
You know what I mean?
War is a great economic driver, my friend.
It's the best.
Yeah, it's the best.
I mean,
It's the best.
It's you guys heard of the idea of the banker wars, right?
Oh yeah.
All three world wars were really bank related, because the current war is 100% bank related, and
Yeah.
there's no doubt in my
100%.
mind that the only way to circumvent the impending collapse is potentially a mix of World War III with a touch of aliens.
Just a sprinkle.
That's likely what
Did
they're.
someone
that's
say
their-
space pirates?
I hope so.
Yeah.
They really got to kick it up, because I mean, if you look back in the previous two world wars were so long ago, they did not have in your face like bombardment of social media, news, information as a whole was not in your face 24/7.
And you know why they went to the theater? Is because of air conditioning. The first places that had air conditioning in the United States and most of the world were cinemas, because they were the only ones that were capable of affording it. So every day people would just go into the cinemas because it was the only place that was cold. And this is like this is just when it was black and white, and when there was just
and they would show your newsreels before the movie played. What's going on in the war in Europe?
And they would only show it in like text. They would show you like.
Oh no! They had videos. They had videos that they would play, because I've seen a few of them.
They had recordings. Yeah, they had film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They would show the production here.
Fake news, like the World War I footage and World War II footage. There is multiple billionaires who, like media moguls, that went over there and they tried to film real war footage, and they were like, "This is shit. It's garbage. It's grainy. It's not right." So they faked it, and they sold it as real news footage. And that's not a conspiracy. That is just that. I learned that in my university course. Like, that's fucking true.
And that's an example of what could happen next. Is, I mean, we could have somebody really put a lot of money, not that much money, but put a lot of money into creating a complex web of actions to push a war into fruition. And by the time they figure out it's fake, they already acted.
You start a popular Reddit account, for Christ's sake.
You have a president of a foreign country that was
not that hard.
An actor. That was an actor and dancer. And now he's the president in a country that is at war with Russia.
He was worth $300 million before this war started.
Yeah.
Panama Papers guy, big time.
He had a TV show where he played a fake president, and now he's still playing a fake president, but now,
it's all the world is a stage.
He said no to a peace deal. He walked away from a peace deal with the Turkey broker. And it was because England told him to not to walk away.
But like you said with the aliens, and war, and they're gonna have to kick it up and throw so many different things in the actual war that is gonna catch people. There might be just more than aliens, but they're really gonna have to kick it up a notch with this.
I can't keep up with humanity's debauchery.
One of the things that strikes me prominently, at least especially looking back at the first two world wars, was it was hard for people to discern what was fact and what was fiction. Yellow journalism is a very, very real thing. And for what it's worth, there is a lot of bullshit in the news that is reporting on the conflict. So it's hard to be able to discern what's actually fact from fiction. I think as tensions continue to rise to the boiling point, which we are there now, we are at that tipping point for sure, that I believe that a 21st century yellow journalism is going to be magnified. It's going to be even worse than our grandfathers, our great grandparents ever witnessed in conflicts of the past.
Well, to be honest, more people died after World War II than died in World War II.
That's fair.
China.
Yeah. That's
like the Cultural Revolution.
That's absolutely true.
The power of propaganda and mass hysteria and every manipulation tactic you can imagine that is now being implemented inside of the United States and implemented in Europe. But in Europe, they're just accepting it because
And
We
that,
won't get into that.
and that shit and that shit plays into people's emotions. Hey, puppers. Sorry,
Well-
that was an ADD moment.
Well, that's okay. Well, that's I mean that in a way that's kind of why I had this idea to talk about this during this episode, because you keep talking about the powers of propaganda and the technologies that they have to do wild things, and I'm not gonna share the sound on this video, but I want to share this video while we're sitting here talking. For those of you out there listening, you guys, I'll even share the video link so that you guys can make sure you check this out. But this is the kind of abilities that even average Joes are having on a regular, everyday basis now. We're all familiar with Mr. Jim Carrey here, and people are able to just take other folks' faces now and paste them to whatever character they want at any
And this
time.
just requires one computer and a few hours, and this is not even recent footage.
That's the guy from the number 23.
Yes.
I did watch that movie, by the way, Bandit.
It's good, man.
Yeah,
It's good.
But
going, sorry to jump in, Jim Bob, but going to what Neptune's saying, absolutely it's going to be worse than it's ever been. Our capacity and our addiction to fucking news media has never been stronger. So yeah, I mean it's gonna be bad.
It plays into a modicum of fear, really, that it preys on people's emotions. And the capability of people to use this sort of technology to manufacture fear in the masses is not lost on me, and I don't think it's lost on any of us that are on this call right now, that using deepfake style technology, using the means of Photoshop and other illustrating and rendering tools to create the reality that you want people to believe in is very fucking real, and they will use that to motivate people to act irrationally.
Well,
Hey, Jimmy, thank you for pulling that video down, because I had the audio playing in my head.
So, my bad. So the interesting thing about that is that was just an example that I pulled up, which just so happens to be Jim Carrey all over Star Trek characters. But
there's one for Keanu Reeves. It's hilarious.
Let's use real world examples. Let's talk about what they did with Osama bin Laden. Let's talk about. Talk about. Hey, hold on. I got even better ones. Let's talk about the ISIS execution videos that were done in front of a green screen
by that company that I was mentioning that talks the bad stuff about you guys.
Yeah,
because they were the only ones that published it.
Thing?
It was.
Link me.
Yeah.
Can we play it, or is it too much?
I mean, I don't know.
They have
let's
independent.
not get you banned on any other platforms, Jim Bob. Let's not do it.
So no, John.
They're not going to ban. They're not going to. They can
pull up the article.
I don't care. I don't care right now. But it's got to be talked about, though, man.
They don't show blood. That's part of the reason why it looks so fake.
Yeah, that seems very hard.
I mean,
to
if
do
we've got,
if
somebody send me something. I'm looking real quick, but
I'm not going to send you.
Yeah, let me see if I can get. Let me see if I can get the Bin Laden aging in reverse, because I know.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah,
Bin Laden in 2001 was already on dialysis. So you're telling me a 6'5" or 6'7" Arab man? By the way, he really stands out.
Yeah,
on dialysis.
On dialysis was running from cave to cave.
Was running from cave to cave.
Powerful government on the face of the earth. Sure, buddy.
From U.S. Army Delta Force that was already in there hunting him down. And we were
proven that they could have killed him in 2001.
They were 100 meters from the opening of the Tor Bor cave complex.
They intentionally didn't kill him because
they were told to stand down. Some of these guys.
Somebody got that came on. No, he's an employee. He's one of us.
No, seriously, they did a expose on. They brought these Delta Force guys in, and they had these. What, the Delta Force guys? Yeah. They brought these guys in, and they had to make them over in such a way. They added facial prosthetics, changed their voice, changed their weight, put platform shoes on them, and to where you couldn't recognize them, because these guys were just
I'm looking for that.
And
original
they
article.
talked about they were 100 meters away from the opening of the cave complex to where Osama bin Laden and his team was hiding, and they were said, "No, you can't go in there. No, you got to turn around and come back." And they were just like, "Okay, why?"
So these people are wearing brand new uniforms.
Yes.
I think so. One of the things that was really weird about these videos was they were wearing brand new clothing. The main guy had a British accent. And when it comes to the heading videos that came from a group that had no credibility
Jesus
whatsoever.
Christ,
Jimmy, can you scroll back up for a minute?
Bandit. This is like coordinated nonsense.
Do those look like Chechen fighters?
They look like a couple of pretty boys.
Yeah,
they had new equipment, new knives, new weapons. Their boots weren't even
so new that you can see
so new.
Faces on the uniform.
Yep.
I got the video.
Yeah, I saw all these videos, man. Yeah, it was the equipment was so new. I'm like, I'm actually in Afghanistan and I don't have equipment that new.
Jesus Christ.
Chechenians, you say?
The pattern uniform that they use is very similar to our own Marines, MARPAT.
Yeah, it was. They do have MARPAT uniforms. You can see in some of the later videos. They even have some of the.
And this, by the way, is like a mainstream media article about this. Like, so.
Yeah, no, this is. I mean,
this is a Time magazine article. Like, it did make it to, you know what I'm saying, like the mainstream. That they.
I just realized that. So they finally confessed to it. I mean, I told people back then. I remember I was talking to somebody from Fox News. She worked with executives at the top of the company, and she was one day just like really pissed off, like at everything, and was just telling me, we don't control the narrative. We normal people inside of the company, we have no say in what the hell they're saying. They knew that all these videos were fake. I was talking to other people that worked directly with Hannity, and I was like, if they know this, why do they lie? And she was like, look, they just pay him to say whatever the fuck he has to say. This is related to Sean Hannity, and this was an anchor. I'm not going to say who she was, but she was also a TV personality actively. And she just openly was like, yeah, because once you open up with that type of thing in a particular way, they're like, yeah, it's true. That's all that these are lies that we're propagating, and we're propagating these lies because, it's what the agenda of the desired powers that be need to push.
I sat back down at the right time. And some of the facial structures don't even look the same on some of the pics. Like, they don't even look like this.
The 2007.
The 2007 video was in that time period. Everybody was speaking about NASA. NASA had published a year before videos of their capability to fake video and fake audio. And this is particularly NASA, which everybody's like, what the hell is NASA developing audio deepfakes?
James Webb Telescope.
But that's audio. That's what I mean. So then Adobe came out with the demo. Have you guys seen the Adobe demo? Can we get like the Adobe demo that like copies somebody's voice perfectly and like in the demo, and they all freak the fuck out?
I was listening to an article, a news report or something. I was trying to do my research today.
So Adobe
they said the voice stuff, what you're talking about, Luis, is the most dangerous type of deepfake.
Because it's so easy to propagate. Because this is the thing about it. For example, with psychedelics, if you take a very high dose of psychedelics and you start hallucinating audio, how are you going to tell the difference? How do you tell the difference? That's the problem. Even though we are so sensitive to sound can be weaponized in ways and manners that we don't comprehend until it's been weaponized. But if you can suddenly completely emulate somebody you love's voice and have that voice say something to that person, you've manipulated them.
Yeah, it's terrifying to think that they can target you if they deem you, the government can target you if they deem you a threat they can take your likeness and your voice and do whatever the fuck they want with it.
And if they really want to fuck with you, they can literally target your head with audio weapons. Okay, so this is a real thing.
Cuba,
Yes.
yeah.
The bone, the audio to bone.
No.
all technology.
So this is like old technology now. We have developed technology like more than a decade ago, that can send sound like a laser. So you've seen this be used in protest. If you've been to a modern protest, you will witness certain times cops holding all this equipment and then this like directional sound weapon. So this can blow up your ears if they wanted to. And can kill you. There's a setting on that thing that is set to kill. So you can, once you go over 260 decibels, you can kill someone.
Do you think that's what Havana syndrome was all about?
It was
a mix of that.
They have those mounted on Humvees that can target groups of
exactly,
people.
And then, for example, cruise ships use this technology to disable pirates now.
So they do.
So when a cruise ship is being attacked, yes, Jim Bob, they will disable you from a distance. They will blow up your eardrums. They can just blow up your eardrums.
Well,
if you don't comply.
Thankfully for me, I've already had an eardrum exploded once in my lifetime, so I can tolerate another one.
I'm going deaf already anyway, so I don't really care.
My tinnitus don't give a fuck.
Like I will say it was terrible, and I don't recommend it for anyone. But
that's what this book is for.
You'll never fall into the sound propaganda if you can.
Wonder how hard signing's going to be with a hook.
Ooh. I mean, you need like your own language. You gotta, yeah. It's not good.
So the reason I mentioned the Adobe thing was, Adobe has built a deepfake tool, but it doesn't know what to do with it. So this is an article from 2021, but this is related to deepfake for video. But Adobe had created one for audio years ago, and they took it off the market. They were like, "We're going to release it," and they were like, "Nope, we're not." But it still got released. Parts of the technology still got released, and today there's a few companies that have this technology, and there's now open source versions of it. There's websites you can contract, and you can, let's say, you can take me speaking, and then the computer will take my voice and then convert it into that person's voice, but you use my intonation of it. So if I speak like a certain person already, if I copy somebody's cadence perfectly, the computer will just create a perfect copy of that cadence. And copying presidents is really easy because they all speak the same. Listen to George W. Bush. Listen to Obama. Listen to, Biden's useless now, but listen to all these other presidents. And they all have the exact
useless
same.
Now.
Well, he's been useless for a while, but or is it even him? At this point, is he the biggest deepfake in history?
To your point.
Absolutely.
To your point. Here's a good example.
I would say Alex Jones is one of the greatest deepfakes of all time.
So here's a good example. This is a deepfake of the Queen's 36.
Yo, while you're on TikTok, you find
the Queen.
Tom Cruise guy. The Tom Cruise guy on TikTok.
Oh, yeah,
I've already got it queued.
Look like
good point. Okay, we're good.
That guy does look
an
like
example
Tom
because he was
Cruise.
talking about like presidents and stuff. Like here's a Queen.
Yes, you heard me right. This is a deep fake, a technology that uses AI and deep learning to seamlessly replace faces in videos. And if you're not scared already, then wait until you see this.
America. You blame me for interfering with your democracy, but I don't have to. You are doing it to yourselves. Polling stations are closing. You don't know who to trust. You are divided. There are strings we can pull, but we don't have to. You are pulling them for us.
This isn't actually the Queen. Yeah.
That's a shitty one. That's
like that one. You can tell, but the voice. I mean, shit. You just would throw a filter on there and make it grainy. I don't know.
Guys on 4chan will do a better job than that.
Oh yeah. Oh, this guy.
There's my guy. This guy's a fucking legend.
Do you know Corridor?
Of a snapping turtle coming out of its shell. Despite what your eyes and ears are telling you, that is not Tom Cruise. Miles Fisher says that he has always had a hard time breaking through as an actor because of how much he really looks like Tom Cruise. I have a hard time feeling bad for the guy. But instead of giving up on his dream, he reached out to special effects superstar Chris Ume in Belgium to use deepfake technology in order to fully transform into the couch-jumping Scientologist he reminds people of. The result is scary close to the real thing.
I'm gonna show you some magic. It's the real thing.
With discipline and hard work. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's crazy!
Mess up my hair.
He masters that.
I don't know about you, but that is the most
Wow. Fucking brilliant.
That is fucking it's terrifying. I mean, it's funny on one hand, but on the other hand, it's terrifying how that could be turned against a person.
100%.
No, that's not the best video I sent you. I'm gonna. So this one was recreate. So this team, that's a team of YouTubers, created recreated a scene from Star Wars. Now this is recreating a multi-billion-dollar studio scene with a shoestring budget, just a team of like 10 people. That one I sent you. The
second one you sent me.
Yeah, the last one I sent you. You can move forward and you can see they show you the Disney version and the Mandalorian, and they show you theirs. It was so good. He was hired by Disney. The guy was hired by Disney after this, because they were like, I can't believe you did that with. So Disney spent millions of dollars to recreate an actor that had passed away in one of the recent Star Wars movies. So that's a deep fake.
Carrie Fisher.
No, Carrie Fisher was one, but actually it was more expensive to recreate the guy that was dead. Because Carrie Fisher, they got the scans, but the guy that died, that was one of the commanders. That's Carrie Fisher. But they were recreating that guy. That guy cost millions to recreate.
Really? That weekly old sack of balls?
Because they had only the footage as reference. They had no scans. They had nothing. So they had to deepfake it. And I think the voice acting was done by somebody else. But this is, for example, that's a CGI copy. That's they show you the Disney version and they show you their version. Their version looks slightly better than the Disney version.
I got a better one than this. From the 90s, from Brandon Lee was killed halfway through The Crow?
The Crow, yeah. Halfway through.
And they had to put his face on somebody else for a few scenes and piece together footage and put him in on top of other footage that they had used for The Crow.
So check this out.
I am not Morgan Freeman, and what you see is not real. Well, at least in contemporary terms, it is not. What if I were to tell you that I am not even a human being? Would you believe me? What is your perception of reality? Is it the ability to capture, process, and make sense of the information our senses receive? If you can see, hear, taste, or smell something, does that make it real? Or is it simply the ability to feel? I would like to welcome you to the era of synthetic reality. Now, what do you see?
That's over a year old.
God, why'd they make that so horrifyingly ominous? That was awesome.
Because that's what they're going to use. Come on, man.
Because remember, this is mainstream technology. This is not military tech. This is not like machine.
And that's why it's still cookie cutter. You can tell still. I'm sure the military stuff, it's fucking done. It's
flawless. It's probably flawless.
It's flawless.
This just makes me want to hurt and accelerate my plan to get out into the woods and be left alone.
Well, we got your deepfake queued up, Bandit, unfortunately. So we'll just keep you on this podcast.
There's enough footage of us based off TikTok, based off this, that somebody can deepfake you. Somebody can deepfake Jim Bob and make him an actual pirate in the high seas.
He is an actual pirate.
Might actually make you world famous then, man.
Captain Conspiracy.
Okay, so once I have a lot of computing power, Jim Bob, we're gonna do a test. If we pass this week, and I get that computer, we're gonna put you in Pirates of the Caribbean, or whatever other pirate you want. Oh shit!
I don't know how I feel about that.
No, you tell me the pirate movie. We'll put you in that movie.
Put him in some Black Sails, scenes from Black Sails.
There you go. We'll put you in one of those movies. We'll put you as one of the characters. That it has to fit to some extent your type to a degree, but we'll do it because it's possible to do this. It just needs a lot of computing power, and I currently don't have it. But I would I'd love to play around with that stuff.
I'd like to, I wouldn't mind. I second that motion.
Luis, are you sent to make my clone?
We already have the footage.
Yeah, I mean
TikTok.
Yeah,
We already have TikTok. That's enough footage. I don't even.
The Chinese already have
TikTok.
The Chinese already have a Chinese-made clone of Jim Bob Oval Shorts.
Oh yeah, that's a whole thing. You guys saw that story, right? The Chinese basically have a digital clone of every citizen in the world.
Okay, sorry, I'm just checking the news to make sure the world hasn't exploded yet. And it just came to me like, does anyone maybe think that the Russians are all leaving Ukraine because, you know?
Oh yeah,
they want to. There's going to be a big bomb that drops there. Fuck me.
If the Russians appear to be retreating, they usually aren't.
That's kind of what I'm fucking saying. I'm pretty sure they're going to shoot you.
It's going to be a trap.
Bandit, haven't you said that it's easier to conquer a country after you exit and come back in certain cases?
Well, that was just
you force your enemy to exhaust their resources,
chasing you,
and go back in.
Yeah.
You wipe the fucking floor with them. It's what the
Russians. Wait. I love this is fake, but I realize I'm just getting fired.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
And I'm sorry to backpedal for a second, but are you telling me there's a Wish.com made in China version of me somewhere?
Oh yeah, guarantee it. There's an Asian pirate somewhere named. I don't know. Don't. I don't want to sound racist.
Don't give them.
I don't want to say the Asian version of Jim Bob Oval Shorts.
Oh well, we have an Elon Musk version. Have you seen it? Have you seen Chinese Elon Musk?
Seen that? It's yeah.
There is a Chinese Elon Musk. People.
Somebody please pull that up.
That guy's great. There is. Yeah.
He is actually funny. I would love he actually one day actually met Elon Musk.
Jimmy's knockoff counterpart is John Triangle Rectangle Jorts.
Jimba Obo Shorts.
Yeah, some sort of SpongeBob's. Like he got cut from SpongeBob, but he was a character.
So,
you know where that show is based off, right? Bikini Bottom. What happened to Bikini Atoll? What happened to Bikini Atoll?
We blew it up.
A lot.
A lot.
But wasn't that also like the where Godzilla came from? Isn't that where Godzilla originated? Was the Bikini Atoll?
I think that's where Godzilla's gonna come from. Maybe it was
Godzilla.
They hire that guy to say one line permanently. The guy says one word. That's it. It's the gravy line. Thank God for him. Thank God.
If we're gonna get something out of left field, I prefer kaijus and Godzilla. Please. Reality, just give us Godzilla. Please. It'll distract everybody. World War will end overnight because they will be so perplexed that there's a giant lizard creature.
Like give us at least a dozen of them, at least.
Yeah, I'll pick a good distraction. What do we use for that raid? What type of raid do we use? Do we get a giant spray can?
That'd be giant cockroaches, not giant reptiles.
Giant cockroaches?
Yeah.
Is it the guy? Because I'm having trouble finding it.
Yes, that's it. That's literally.
So he finalized his deal. He finalized his deal for Twitter.
Yeah. Is that done? I knew he was diving back in. So 40 billion.
That's why all the bots are disappearing off of Twitter right now.
By the way, one of the main reasons it actually makes sense, it's because he knows his stock is gonna tank like a rock. So he's just like, fuck it, I'm gonna do this instead. I'm gonna liquidate the 10 billion I was gonna liquidate because he already set aside 10 billion to liquidate, and then he's gonna get the rest in loans. So he's getting like 34 billion in loans, I believe.
It's
no biggie, no big
well,
deal.
they halted stock.
But he's paying.
Twitter.
He is using 10 billion of his own money, and I believe then Morgan Stanley's spending like $9 billion, and then other private investors like it all coming up and joining him.
They're buying it. He's buying it at $54.80 a share.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was halted. All trading was halted
because it rose 13% today.
That's fucking criminal. They can halt trading. I've been watching Eat the Rich. I just watched the first episode on Netflix. That whole GameStop thing was a fucking travesty. Fucking joke.
Oh, 100%. By the way, a worse thing that happened.
My girl had some GameStop shares.
Like I loved, for the record, I loved what the Redditors were doing. Fuck that. Fuck whatever that
Elizabeth Warren
that halted everything, and those
Elizabeth Warren.
They were crooks. They should all be in jail. They should all be fucking eaten for real.
Didn't she just Didn't she just introduce a bill to ban people in Congress and the Senate from insider trading or trading in stocks? Period.
No way. Really?
Elizabeth Warren did. Yeah. You can look it up.
She is a puppet. She never gets anything done. No, that's gonna go.
I think she was the one that introduced the bill, though.
But let me explain something. Dodd-Frank was a scam. Dodd-Frank was introduced by her and other people. Dodd-Frank was a gigantic scam. You know what Dodd-Frank had actually built into it? Two things. One, the destruction of the banking system. How? They regulated the banks into oblivion so small banks couldn't exist, forcing consolidation of banking.
Central economy.
Not only did Dodd-Frank do that, destroying small banks, they also made it so they could do shit like TARP. So remember when the Obama administration, it was a nightmare to get that $700 billion of basically quantitative easing. Dodd-Frank made it so quantitative easing could happen in the blink of an eye without congressional approval. And that's how we got to today, because of people like her that lied to the public, saying, we're going to do all this for you guys. Nope. It's all a lie.
When I come up with elaborate schemes, I'm a pirate. But when they come up with elaborate schemes, they don't get anything until
They're
somebody
Jesus
decides
the Savior.
Until someone decides to, like, I don't know, feed Mr. Chippy. Like,
I'm all for Chippy. Where's the gasoline at? Is the gasoline powered or diesel powered?
I mean,
you gotta get the diesel one.
Yeah,
the big diesel one, right? I saw one the other day. That's why I sent you. I sent you guys. Like, look, I saw one.
Don't worry. If we ever run out of diesel fuel, I'm all down for drop kicking some people into a vat of acid.
So this is the thing. Like, Eat the Rich really exemplifies not the rich person that your neighbor that has $1 million. Not those people. None of those people. You can be worth even $20 million. You're not rich. You're just comfortable. Rich, we're talking people in the $1 billion range. Those are like obscenely.
Well, it's like rich and super rich.
There's godly rich, but there's also scales, right? Because there's people that are rich in stock and that are not that rich, actually.
And they don't have. It goes from like you're not considered like rich. Like there's a difference when you hit the millions, and then the tens of millions, hundreds of millions. Once you hit that $1 billion mark, 5 billion, 10 billion, there's actually, they broke it down, like your accessibility.
You ever seen it? There was a Reddit post that broke it down. Like,
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, that was a great post.
It breaks it down to like your accessibility to people and things. When you get to like the 5, 10, 20 billion mark, once you hit that 20 billion mark, there's really nothing that you can't do. Like, there's people that are previously fuck that guy. There's previously people that like won't talk to you. As soon as you hit a certain mark, they'll immediately return your phone calls. They'll immediately make room in their day.
This is why Bill Gates was shunned, because they were saying, but Epstein gave me access to. What do you mean Epstein gave you access? You pick up the phone. Every single human being on the face of the earth picks up the phone for Bill Gates. If Bill Gates randomly calls you right now, and you know it's Bill Gates, you'll be very curious of why the hell Bill Gates is calling you, no matter who you are.
I bet if
he'll eventually can say no to his money, but you'll take up his call.
He'd look really familiar.
His dad was a eugenist, and so is he.
And it's very questionable if that's still the original Bill Gates or not, man.
I mean,
have you seen the videos of him from the 90s?
And that stuff about
like none of his mannerisms are the same.
Oh, because he controls it now.
Pronounced dead online or whatever.
No, the thing is, you actually let me find out Bill Gates in the deposition. Let me see if I can find him.
Is that the one I'm talking about where he's sitting there like?
No, that's where you can see his.
He's like talking like this, and he's rocking and moving his head while he's talking. It's because usually like you maintain some sort of like through your life some of those.
No, you'll see it. You'll see it because I just saw one. No, he's kept. That's Bill Gates. Like, sadly, that is Bill Gates. Bill
Sadly,
Gates is still alive, around and well, all around us. I mean, fun fact. So when you log on to Microsoft, when you log on and you create an account with Windows, it shows you a no face. That no face is actually a copy of the outline of Bill Gates when he was arrested.
His mugshot.
His mugshot outline is the non-user in Windows.
That's funny, actually.
At least he has some form of a weird sense of humor. But this is likely. Let me see. Well, yeah, you can scan through it where he got started.
Like somebody needs to recreate.
Oh,
like
this is the highlight. This is the too much. This is 40 minutes of the craziness.
Somebody needs to redo the whipped cream pie on him, but it needs to be a cinder block. You remember that video of that person hitting him with a pie outside of the building?
Yeah, no.
That is forever on the internet.
I want to dub that and put Sonic Rings jingle over it.
Right. That would be perfect. That would be perfect.
Actually, well, here you go. Play around with it later. That's it.
I will do that.
Bill Gates, it was an antitrust case.
Now I know what I'm doing tonight.
Like, I mean, why would you? I mean, he's one of the world's biggest pieces of shit, and he's got all that money and insists on doing this. Yeah, thank you, God. This
all watch and smile.
Yep, this makes me smile so much. 3, 2.
This was in Belgium, I believe.
Yeah, you'd get killed for doing something like that now. The cops would gun you down in the street for doing that now.
And I remember he said, "Oh, I used to fly the coach." I'm like, none of that.
Think about what Bandit just said there. That right there's the slow-moving manipulation, the slow-moving train where everyone goes, "Oh, I don't care. Edward Snowden warns us all we're being spied on. I don't care. It won't change anything. I'm not doing anything wrong." You could not get away with that today. You would go down, my friend.
Yeah.
Sorry. But that hit home to me, man. You're right, and you couldn't
do that to Castro Jr. Tell me how many years in jail you would face in Canada if you did it to Castro Jr.
Well, he almost did it himself. He went bungee jumping on Sunday with his family, and so check this out. He went bungee jumping, and on the news article that did it, there were about 10,000 comments wishing the rope would break, and I swear to God,
wishing he'd give the ground a face high five.
It was like everyone's just like mad at this bungee jump guy for not
lengthening the bungee by like 10 feet,
Just a little more, man. Just a little more. It was an accident.
A little more.
Yeah.
I mean, but see, again, at the same time,
it was a brand new line.
Politicians, world leaders, and these ultra rich billionaires live in this like fantasy land where they're so
Alec
disconnected.
Baldwin can kill his DP and get away with it.
Well, if we're talking about like people getting away with murder like that, I saw one on today that used the Ted Kennedy car floating in the river.
Sure. I mean, but we love murderers, right? All anyone's fucking talking about right now is Jeffrey Dahmer. For Christ's sakes.
That was a fascinating thing.
It's not that we love them, but we're fascinated in a demented sense that it's not that we're praising him. We're just like, oh yeah.
Is that show any good? Can anyone verify?
It's fucking amazing, man.
Okay. All right.
Because the actor that plays Dahmer
got a lot of practice.
Played Quicksilver. Yeah, played Quicksilver in the X-Men movies.
Oh, and also did American Horror Story like 4 seasons.
Yeah.
Okay. Yo,
that's where he got his practice.
He's so terrifyingly close to like the real thing. Like if you've seen any of his like court trial footage and stuff like that, the actor that is playing Dahmer is so close in his voice and his looks and everything, and the way he acts and carries himself, it's terrifyingly close.
Women are excited about it, talking about how sexy it is. That's a conversation we need to have too.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
It's same fascination with like when Zelensky fucking started his whole charade.
Oh yeah, hell,
everybody was. Oh my god, he's so handsome.
Cuomo, remember? Pierce Nipples Cuomo.
Yeah, Pierce Nipples Cuomo, man. Yes,
I do it to everybody. I do it to everyone. That's Cuomo.
But this all begs the question, though. Like with all this technology and stuff, like even this guy that keeps coming on the news that they say is supposed to be in charge or something, like is what I've heard. You know,
Joe Biden
the videos,
press conferences, just deep fakes and body doubles. Let's find out. In late July, the Twitter account for the band 5 Times All.
I was going to go all there, but like, there's a bunch of different videos and pictures, and like, this is just something I'll pull back.
Did you just send me a picture of you, son of a bitch, man?
Pierce Nipples, Andrew Cuomo is all I see.
Just a palate cleanser in between.
God, man. So, do you remember the video that everybody was ragging of Biden, where like it was only like from here down?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. We try to play that one.
And did you not see the press conference the very next day? He was wearing sunglasses outside. They had to move him. They moved him outside and put sunglasses on him.
No,
I mean they know what they're doing, and it keeps.
Who's running the house, though?
But seriously, think about this. They constantly brought this up. I watched a TikTok on this a couple of days ago. The comparison of look at the White House in movie sets from Independence Day and something else, and then look at the White House office, Oval Office setup for Joe Biden. It's the exact same fucking setup as the movie set Oval Offices Joe Biden's in, and then look at the window. Like they do a comparison of like what the windows look like behind him. There's no trees, no nothing.
Wait, you didn't see that Joe Biden has multiple times been in an actual set?
Yeah.
In a press conference. It's a set of the White House.
Yeah.
They
show it out in the open, like, yeah.
I showed it to people, and they were like, "What?" They couldn't believe that for reasons nobody could explain. The president was in a TV set while in Washington.
White House, yeah.
Why?
Was he actually in Washington though? That's the question.
Well, the reporters were in Washington.
Yeah,
that's why it was so weird.
Or they showed him in front of the green screen walking up to the microphones. Did you see that one? It was the green screen video of him walking up to the microphone, supposedly to answer some press questions, and his hand was moving through one of the boom mics. It wasn't even there. It was just a green screen video.
I mean, the Zelensky video, that one is well produced by El.
You said singular. There's been numerous times where he's probably been in front.
There's clips almost of Zelensky high as a kite. With
cocaine,
his pupils dilated.
Cocaine Zelensky.
Or opium. Opiates.
I imagine he's probably like what was
opiates.
What did Jared Leto play? Jared Leto played Nicolas Cage's brother in Lord of War, right? From Ukraine, and he was in his room, and he was about to run the border of Ukraine and cocaine. He's like, I've got to Ukraine down here, and he outlined it in cocaine, and he's like, I thought I'd start around Odessa and finish up around Odessa, make it all the way around. I imagine that's probably like Zelensky.
I feel like if you were the president of Ukraine, you actually have to do that once. Like you have to do a full chalked out line of the country.
You have to trace your country in cocaine and not stop.
This is the video where he just looks kind of dead and his face doesn't move, like the one before the sunglasses.
Right there, he looks super weird.
Well, the thing is, his eyes don't blink.
What's going on?
He's so high, man. They got that drug cocktail just right.
Sometimes they get that cocktail right, but sometimes they get it.
Sometimes they don't.
It only lasts 15 to 20 minutes. People have been able to time it. It's about 15 to 20 minutes. After that, you start seeing the degradation. I don't know what it is. It could be a mix of coke and other things because of the short lasting effects.
I think it's serious uppers. Some serious uppers.
Oh, it's Vyvanse, Adderall, all crushed up.
It's all put in his ice cream. Because
they mush it up. They mush it up in his banana pudding.
Ice cream and Alzheimer's.
Yeah.
Like chocolate pudding.
How many times have you seen him just like he'll shuffle and like stop and then like turn and look?
That's the worst. That's what his senility is.
It's terrible, man. It's terrible. You know, that people will look at that and go, I voted for that guy and he's doing a good job. You're just as fucking stupid as he is for thinking that, you know? And that is, you know, and that's what this all boils down to. Like, this technology is being used to manipulate the masses, you know?
I think so.
And people like us, we can see it, but we can't talk. We can't, we're talking to a brick wall, you know, when we try to communicate to these people like, hey, you're being manipulated by the media.
Also random, but important. Bangladesh, the entire country of Bangladesh lost power. And
About power.
Coal.
How many? 160 million people?
140 million people are without power in Bangladesh. And,
what, right now?
Europe is, yes, and yes, as of today. And Europe is switching to coal. They're just switching straight to coal. That's the thing. Most of those power plants, all they have to do is turn them back on. Just clean them up and turn them back on, and that's what they're going to do. So now Europe is going to turn real dirty.
Like the Industrial Revolution.
There you go.
Dirty. I just watched Peaky Blinders the other day, and that's what I'm thinking about. That's what I'm thinking it's going to turn back into this winter. Is like Peaky Blinder era.
The air quality
right after World War One. Right after World War One.
No, you wanted a green future. This is what you got.
I know.
Greta is like, how dare you?
I want to get one of those new ships that they've been talking about that are going to be moved by wind and just set sail, and you know that's another option besides getting into the woods, because I figure I could just live at sea.
Jimmy, you didn't see this. They started advertising for those wind powered cargo ships. I saw some of them on Twitter. And I'm telling you, the comments.
The coast. Like, look, they invented this great technology. Oh, you need sails?
Gold, man. It is absolute gold because of the ignorance of people who are just like, oh, it's so green. We've never done this before. We're going wind power. I'm like, I really don't. I don't know what to do with these comments. You know.
Well, going back to that, like we are living in separate realities from other people. I mean, individually, our perceptions, blah,
100%.
But like, you got people who would listen to half the shit we've said here tonight, and to me, it's been a pretty grounded, like, pretty normal convo. Some people would be fucking baffled, not just baffled, they'd be scared of us. They would probably think we're fucked in the head, and it's exactly what we think of them. But I mean, like, in the end. I don't know what in the end, and maybe who's to say they're not the ones? What if, like, just to play devil's apricot, like, what if all this stuff we're saying is fucking bullshit, and we're really living, and the world's just going on just fine? And it's possible, fellas. It's fucking possible. I find it highly unlikely. And like,
so it's possible the government lying. Actually have
you're telling me the government was telling the truth all along, and
is that what you're trying to say?
Like,
million people?
I don't know. Just
from oblivion.
It boggles the mind, right? It boggles the mind. But
here
I think it's so. It's
Did
so
you win
obvious.
the lottery yesterday? Did you win $300 million yesterday?
No, we got banned
it's
on
sober
TikTok.
October. I'm 5 days sober now, and I think my mind's melting. But
stay sober. You want to experience the apocalypse sober, I think.
No.
Shit like that.
No way,
Shit.
dude. No way. I'm gonna be when those
Apocalypse
nukes
just
start
means
falling.
change.
I'm
It
just
doesn't
gonna,
mean
I'm
the
gonna
end.
be high as a kite when those bombs start dropping.
If bombs start dropping, I want to be like this.
All right, I want to go try and
Not
catch
on
one
top.
with balls.
I just want to randomly wake up and realize, oh, it's over. That version's over. When do I wake up
Yeah.
again? In 200 years. All right. See you guys later.
200. Now, I guess what I'm trying to say is we got to be conscious of that. And I mean, I think there's people who are clinging on to this hope that, you know what? They do have our best interests and blah, 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 because they want to believe the good in people. And I guess it takes a different type of person, different type of life experience to get to the point where you see through the masquerade. And once you see through it, you know, through the looking glass, however you want to put it, I just don't see the world as other people see it, and neither do you guys.
No. Like, but we need to see that good in other people, in each other, and actually realize that these idiots up there, behold that they are idiots, but they're smart idiots that are doing what they can do to make themselves rich. They just, at the end of the day, none of those people in those offices, and I know you can attest to this, John, none of those people give a flying fuck about any of us.
I'll quote you a guy. This guy's a member of parliament. He's in the shadow cabinet.
The shadow government, what?
No, it's just not as fun. The shadow cabinet is just the opposition party in parliament. Anyways, I asked him about Libya, and this was back in 2011 when we were getting Gaddafi out of there, who the U.S. put there, by the way. Obviously. But anyways.
What? Really? No.
Hell yeah. Gaddafi was like a huge terrorist guy. He turned in all these terrorists. The U.S. government loved him until they didn't. And then he got stabbed in the ass to death. But anyways, so fucking, it's true. He got stabbed in the ass by his own gold knife.
Yeah, you're talking about Muammar Gaddafi.
Yeah, Gaddafi. Anyways, so I asked this MP, and actually I'll say this, guy respect, what do you think about Libya? And I was a young 21 impressionable guy. His answer to me was, I don't give a fuck about Libya or any of the people there. No one in my riding gives a fuck about them. Nothing they do matters to us. Why would we spend a cent on them? And I, right there, that was one of those moments where I went, okay, wake up. Like, this changes my whole perception of a politician, a man I looked up to saying this. I'm a young liberal university student thinking I want to save the world. Yeah, and he was right. You know what I mean? In a way, he was right. And he is still a member of parliament. He's been elected for the last 10 years, this guy. So, hey, is he a bad guy? I don't think so. Is that who we want being elected? I don't know. I guess it depends.
That's deep, bro.
This is related to what you just said. Very, very connected to what you just said from somebody from our side of the pond. Well, our tiny lake separation.
The old Great Lakes.
The Great Lakes. Let's listen to her real quick.
Unconfirmed. We came, we saw, he died. Did it have anything to do with your visit? No.
You're
I'm
a
sure
fucking war criminal, bitch.
No. All right. So for the first time in 55 years, no Clintons or Bushes will be in any.
Or, no, there's like 4 families that are not going to be in power.
Not going to be in power. Well, I know for a fact Clintons and Bushes for sure, but I'm saying like that's a lot of fucking people. There will be no Clintons or Bushes in power in the United States. 55 years.
What do they call that thing where it's the same people leading the government? What do they call that?
Oh, monarchy?
A monarchy.
You know, you could call it a dictator.
Well, if only we could get one that wasn't related to King James again. Just not very.
When they created the United States, they wanted to get rid of monarchy, but they understood that to an extent, something like that was going to come into fruition anyway. They understood that when they created the United States. And that's part of the reason, one of the 100 reasons, the Second Amendment is there. It's a fail-safe switch.
Yeah.
It's a fail-safe because look at what's happening in Iran. If people of Iran were armed, this would have gone already. This would have been over already. The people of Iran would have already won. And now, thankfully, the youth is coming in full. I don't know if you've seen the videos of all the girls like swearing at the principal and throwing all of their scarves at the principal. You see everybody without any head covers. You just see everybody just attacking. You see like the students everywhere, all over Iran are fighting back. And the thing is, at the end of the day, the people do have the power. It just takes a lot of consensus for it to happen. Consensus. That's all it takes. It's consensus, but the people have the power.
Well, and then the 2-week media news cycle expires, and it gets a little boring after that, Louise. So
Well, Iran. This is the last chance the United States has to topple Iran into their favor. This is the last chance, and we're already doing that with Starlink. That's why they're putting Starlink in Iran, and evidently Starlink as a test, they were using it in Ukraine. And I just learned the reason Ukraine is winning is because they're using Starlink. They were explaining that the reason the military machine is working so well, it's Starlink. So even though they just attacked Elon Musk and made a fake image of Elon Musk arrested because Zelensky was attacking Elon Musk because of what he said and
tweet or
to negotiate
the peace plan.
To quote our friend Chrissy, we're creating a Bond villain with Elon Musk. We need to they need to quit utilizing him for
What's
things.
the over under that the military might tap Musk to turn those damn Starlinks into an orbital weapons platform?
That is a weapons platform. What are you talking about?
You get
it is already
0 odds on the over. 0 odds. Did you know Elon Musk's father has 2 children with his stepdaughter?
Yeah, that's fucked up.
I just like pointing that out.
That's weapons grade fucked up.
No, that's rich people shit.
It's true.
It's rich people shit. I just tell people that's rich people shit. What do you expect?
Well, yeah, I mean they're all inbred. Look at the Queen and her cousin husband and their, mentally handicapped offspring.
Oh, they locked away in the fucking castle. I know what you're talking about. Man.
Oh, you mean
bad?
You mean the kid peddler? Or
they lived? No. They actually
there's another one.
Yes. They actually had a mentally handicapped, mentally enfeebled child, and no one knew about it until that I believe it was a she, died. But they had her stored away in some property, and she never left it. Never. And,
that's so sweet.
That's absolutely true.
Well, it's like what the Kennedys did to that one.
Oh, that's right. I was going to mention
they gave her a lobotomy.
Yeah,
and it went wrong.
God bless them.
Yeah, that was that whole fucking family. I'm
that's a family that was also good riddance, Kennedys. You were no good either. The Kennedys came from a crime family from Chicago.
The Kennedy curse is a real thing, and all I can say is they deserved all of it.
So
that's some pretty barbaric shit, giving your own fucking offspring a lobotomy because she was a little slutty. That was it. She wasn't it was only because she was I think she was trying to get it laid. They were nah.
I'm sorry to say that's my mother's maiden name.
You're not related.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Yeah, I am.
We got to cut out a piece of that brain now, Bandit.
Yeah.
My God.
It's one of those things. It's just believe me, Luis, I get that a lot. It's I'll say that, and they're like, "Oh, it's such a common name." I was like, "Nah, according to genealogy, it is."
I'm finding things about Kennedy's sister,
just
Rosemary.
Let's talk about old Teddy boy, Ted Kennedy. I want to talk about people being fascinated with murderers.
Hey, I think I found it.
He was still reelected to the Senate after he
Wait, what's the Kennedy? There's one Kennedy that's good. The one that constantly lost his voice. He's speaking like this because he has a throat issue.
I'm talking about Robert Kennedy.
Bobby. Yeah, that'd be Bobby. Yeah.
No. Bobby was JFK's younger brother. That was gone down.
Yeah, also killed.
Yeah. Ted Kennedy, who's dead now, he killed his mistress was in the car with him. Supposedly she was pregnant. He was drunk and drove off a fucking bridge. And she drowned in the car while he was wandering around drunk. And then he still got reelected to the Senate.
You know, he left his pregnant wife in the car as
mistress,
and he, mistress. Oh, okay, it's all good then. Never mind.
Do you think that's actually McAfee or is it a deep fake?
Oh yeah, the McAfee video.
Is McAfee alive?
Do you? I follow his
video
wife.
where he's like in this weird aluminum box.
I follow his wife on Twitter, Janice, and she. The way like her messages are on Twitter, you would swear that that John is still alive. You know,
is this the recent wife he had? I can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
He had many partners.
Yeah, hasn't he been married like 4 times?
Yeah, he's been married a few times. It was the most recent. I think it was the most recent and longest lasting one. I think.
Yeah, he's batshit insane if he is still alive.
How did he escape the Spanish prison though?
Well, if you get to a level of awareness that obviously McAfee was, I mean, wouldn't you really? I mean, if you think about living 50 years or 40 years being totally like aware of what goes on with the country and who does what and
do you guys remember when the San Bernardino shooting happened? So when the San Bernardino shooting happened in the United States, there was a cell phone that was found about the attacker. And the cell phone had a 4-digit or 6-digit passcode. And they were saying, oh, we are forcing Apple to decrypt this phone.
Yes.
And it was a whole story. And he went on TV and said, okay, I'll tell you how it works. You clone the phone. And then you run a simulation on the cloning of the phone. In a few minutes, you'll have access to the phone. Where's the problem here? Like, it's a lie. They just want to push legislation so they can do it to everybody very easily. That's all it was. So they were using San Bernardino in order to hack your phone with ease.
I said fucking 10 years ago when I was a little shithead who thought he knew everything. I remember saying it's fucking convenient how all these shooters, all of them, somehow get the message out, just before they left, they sent the package to CNN or they sent it somewhere. Their stories are all just about exactly the same. And by golly, I don't know.
What's the fascinating thing with that?
It just seemed fascinating to me. And it seems like maybe there was another little agenda. And I think we've seen what the agenda is.
You want to talk about those cases, if they're fake, that means people are way purer than people might think.
It's just like, and it doesn't happen other places. Like, just not as much. Like, I don't know. It seems like it's a tool. It does seem at this point to be a tool, and it's a tragedy. And I hope,
CIA.
I hope kids aren't dying, and if they are, then it's fucking unforgivable, right? But in the end, like, it seems highly suspect. The more it happens, the less they fucking feel obligated to do anything or report on it or even show footage. Like, how hard would it be to just show? This sounds terrible, but show me a kid getting shot in the face. Let me see it. That's it.
Oh, I'll give you an interesting example. I was in Europe when Osama bin Laden's kids were killed, Uday and Qusay. And there were two versions of
Saddam Hussein's kid.
Yeah,
is that what she said?
Uday and Qusay. They were.
I remember that.
The super rapist killer kids that he had. He literally created 2 monsters. So when they murdered them, there were 2 versions of the news. There was one version that was censored, and then the other showcasing in the front headline. This was in Europe, though.
Yeah,
it was their dead bodies. Completely destroyed.
And they put them against the wall and shot them hundreds of bullets times.
They were intentionally like the British Army or some shit, or like
they were making them Swiss cheese.
No, that was the U.S. military.
U.S. military. Okay. Gotcha.
Yep.
And the thing is, in the headlines, they showed 2 versions: the one with the bodies stitched up, and the bodies completely obliterated. And I was like, wow, you'll never see this in the United States.
Like James Holmes.
Yeah,
that guy's father was an orchestrator of the what was the huge fucking bait and switch currency scandal in British banking. Yeah, that's true.
Something that George Soros was involved in or not? When George Soros tried to destroy the Bank of England again?
They literally got caught. Like, they got caught doing it. I can't remember what it's called, but James Holmes' dad was like one of the main guys in that.
But I bet you on the
something to
side,
think about.
Soros probably made a fortune when the pound went like this. Boop, 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 boop.
That's it. Like,
Soros
they were
probably
fucking
made a
around with currencies and making a shit ton of money and defrauding the public. And there was like an algorithm that, you know, Mr. Joker's dad came up with. And meanwhile, this guy is a fucking, I think he was a poli-sci student who had his apartment rigged to the point it took 2 days for army fucking police SWAT to debomb that shit. I don't know.
Do you guys know about Jolo?
I don't know.
Jolo?
Sorry, what you
Jolo? So Jolo was, I remember following the story for a long time because I was like, who the fuck is this guy? So Jolo, if you've heard of the Wolf of Wall Street, Jolo funded the Wolf of Wall Street. Now, how did Jolo fund the Wolf of Wall Street? He stole billions of dollars from the Malaysian Sovereign Fund. This guy created billions of dollars in bonds for the Malaysian Sovereign Fund and stole more money from the Malaysian government. You got to follow, if you want to follow the story of a con man that literally stole billions of dollars in a very short period of time. This con man, he was creating insane parties. When Jordan Belfort met him, he was like, "You are weird. Like, this makes no sense." Even Jordan Belfort was like, this guy
if
looks
it's
like
too
a
much for
scam
Jordan
artist.
Belfort, that's holy shit. That's
He
wild.
couldn't stand, like, he was like doesn't make any sense. This tells me that this is stolen money. He was partying as if it was stolen money. LIBOR scandal grows. What happens? Oh, this is the story you were talking about.
Yeah, and apparently there was another father of a mass murderer.
Testifying to Financial Examiner.
Jesus.
Just saying. I don't even know what I'm saying. My mind's just fucking gone off on that. I can't drop it.
Yeah,
Fucking James
no.
Holmes. The way that guy was sitting in the courtroom. You tell me that guy wasn't drugged up to the fucking gills.
You remember the guy that literally confessed to murdering, like when he walked out of an area and he was mic'd and he confessed to the murder of someone? Have you guys heard of that
Oh,
case?
Robert, yeah, fucking the real estate mogul. That guy's a beauty.
He
love
walked
that.
away. He was fully
Robert Blake. Robert Blake.
Durst. Robert Durst is who it is.
He was mic'd up and they heard him say everything and the guy was
He's like,
"Oh,
oh, I
like,
killed him. Yeah. Well, he killed like a bunch of people. The guy, he got off too. Yo, the Jinx HBO documentary.
Remember, money gets you away from doing
Robert
anything
fucking
you want.
Durst, man.
You can do literally whatever you want, and people that say otherwise don't know the justice system doesn't exist. It's an illusion. And I come from a place there is no justice system. It's complete illusion.
You got any
doesn't
fam
exist.
down there? Are they doing all right? I know Puerto Rico was.
So Puerto Rico, to give you a interesting summary, there is the Power Authority that is run by a private corporation, and then there is all the linemen that were fired when the Power Authority came into control. They wanted all the FEMA money, so they banned the other municipalities from doing repairs with anything but their crews. So Puerto Rico was dark because they wanted all the FEMA money, and they wanted all the money to go to their contractors, which is Qantas, which is a Canadian American company.
Shit.
So yeah. So the municipalities just started hiring the linemen who already know how to fix the grid, and they were like, yeah, your guys are going to do it. We'll pay you. Go do it. So the local linemen, which there's 1,800 of them, went to go work, and most of the grid is okay now. My mom's actually now in Puerto Rico. She arrived today, and it's much better now, but it's because the linemen came into action. And the thing is, Puerto Rico, what they need to do is everybody got to stop paying the bills. Just pay the power bills. Stop paying the power bill. The only way we're going to get rid of them, stop paying the power bill. And this is the thing I'll tell everybody.
Netherlands?
nationwide, globally, just stop paying your power bill. If we all come together and stop paying the power bill, the massive cultural shifts that will happen overnight are massive.
It would only
what the
take
hell are you going to do?
couple
Shut
weeks.
everybody's power off? No,
Yeah.
we're not.
It would only take a couple bill cycles.
It would only take 2 months, and the entire
2
system would
months.
fall.
Yeah.
Like, look at it this way: if 5% of all depositors remove their money, the entire system falls
Yeah,
apart.
that's something they don't like people talking about, Luis. How dare
Just
you?
5%. Just 5%. Take out their money out of the accounts. That's it. That's all it takes. And the reason why it's that way, and the reason I've told people, the work everybody does, the work the everyday person does, exponentially is actually more valuable to the economy than the work the people at the very top do. But they don't like people that look at finance look at it 2 different levels. They look at it the level that they are the ones that are important, but they don't realize that everything functions based off the labor of others. And extraction of labor in the United States, extraction of labor is a problem. The coastlines essentially extract wealth from the center. So like you see California, Texas, Florida, and parts of the East Coast, they're extracting wealth from the center. That's what they're doing. So the same way we're doing that to the world, we're even doing that to ourselves. And then we call those places flyover states. We disregard their value. We disregard those people's values. For what? They're the ones that are keeping everybody alive.
Yep.
But they're treating them like jack shit. They're treating them like slaves. They're treating them like, oh, there's just dumb hillbillies.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I think like Marxists have always gotten wrong, especially, is that culturally they don't understand, as far as any subjective discussion about value of someone's labor, right? As you mentioned, Luis, it is the working states that hold everything together.
And that's also
let the supply lines fall apart. Let your goods come to a grinding halt. See how well they do, and they take that for granted, I think.
And we got close to that. The thing is, we had like relative cushions, right? But those cushions only lasted so long. 2020 showed it.
Yep.
And now we're realizing, oh, we have problems. I'm like, oh shit, we always have problems.
It's certainly a contributing factor to our current economic crisis. It's not the cause, but it's a symptom. That's for sure.
But we're moving forward into a new direction. Hopefully, if the little lines in the sky don't mean anything in Korea, that base in Korea, you saw any other news about it?
I've been kind of.
They're saying it was an accident.
They are saying it was an accident, which is possible. I mean, I'm pretty sure
there's too much coincidence. There's too much, and like
I agree.
Jimmy already. We don't believe there's too much. When it comes to coincidences like that, it really is not.
They're trying to figure out.
You've got North Korea and the U.S. You've got North Korea and the U.S. firing missiles over Japan.
All day. They've
all
been
day.
firing
Just the last couple of days. North Korea, and then South Korea was put on alert immediately on the DMZ after North
they're
Korea.
evacuating Kiev. Yeah,
Yep.
it's fucking evacuated.
Immediately the DMZ was put on alert. You've got, and then all of a sudden that base, and it happens to be the one closest to the DMZ.
It is the specific
there is
one.
no
It's literally the specific one
coincidences
that
and stuff like that.
sense.
No, there's just no coincidences.
Well, I'll say this: the bigger red flag to me is that you're not seeing. It's not popping up on BBC anything. I do scan those sites as well as Reddit, so I'm not seeing it there. So that means
the thing is,
that would be a fucking huge story to me. If I'm maybe running the BBC at the editor desk, I'd probably have that one out there.
And see, the thing is,
being told not
what they don't understand with that is, everybody, and this whole thing plays out with Russia too. And they want to talk about like North Korea is just made up of used Russian equipment. What they fail to realize in that situation is that that entire fucking country is a military. You have the entire population so brainwashed and isolated that they could charge across the border with forks and spoons and overrun South Korea. that is not that. Dude, you don't want that. You don't want that. All right.
I mean, the DMZ is covered in bombs.
Landmines.
Mm-hmm.
Landmines.
It's bomber and landmines. That's why a lot of people die just crossing the border.
But remember, Kamala Harris is leading the unity between us and
North Korea and South Korea.
Yeah.
Remember, North Korea is our greatest ally.
It's a testament to how useless she is that your walking president is pretty much dead on his feet, but I forgot she's alive. And that's fucking.
I forget she exists.
And then you've got Speaker of the House, Nancy. You've got the 24/7 drunk Nancy Pelosi. I mean, look at it. Just goes down at the worst. If you
found a deep fake for you, Jimmy.
Yeah, that deep fake of her being drunk. That is a deep fake, apparently. They talked about that.
Oh no, she is high as a kite on edibles.
There's one video they showed where someone fucked with the footage of her face, and they have the.
She is drunk and high all the time.
I mean, I don't doubt it. I'm just saying, deep fake is.
She arrested 1,400 people for marijuana.
Also, the flip side to this is the real people could do something fucked up on video, and then turn around and go, "Oh, that was just deep fake."
Oh, it's fucking Ari Gold. That's Ari
it's Elon.
Yeah, I know. Fucking Ari Gold. God, that show.
Jesse, how have you been? I've been great. I'm back.
This was done likely in a few minutes.
Oh yeah,
and this is an example of what somebody can do like in a couple of minutes.
Donaldo Trumpo, Poppy Trumpo.
Oh, you've never seen that page?
That man has created a Twitter universe where there's so many Donald Trump accounts.
One of the biggest Reddit threads, which was related to Donald Trump, was turned off, and that's one of the biggest moves against him when they turned off the Twitter thread. I mean, the Reddit thread that was supporting of him.
Brutal.
It really
brutal.
Is.
They just want to turn off everything that is in opposition of establishment. They want to now declare MAGA as terrorist. Which was predicted from years ago that they will select some alternative as the biggest boogeyman. Before it was the Boogaloo Boys or whatever nonsense.
Jesus, man, that's going way back. How many accounts did we lose? How many pages and accounts did we lose because of that?
I'm on my 4th account, and I lost 3 pages during that time.
Oh my God, man! I think we made the list on every list they put out. I think we sat in our group chat and we're like, we're on a couple of those pages, aren't we?
Hi, my name is Jim Bob Oval Shorts because my real name just gets automatically deleted when I make a profile.
Yeah. Yeah.
You did some. We
made the big news sites too. They did write-ups about some of our posts. Made the big write-ups. I know one of mine did. I know one of mine did.
I mean, sometimes infamous is good.
Yeah, we all did, and it was just those days were just and
we just memed you into oblivion.
Ever since
we make you super uncomfortable, and I couldn't be happier.
And it's we made those lists, and the FBI probably has all of our info saved in a database. And at that, and at that point, I'm just with this whole, I just don't care that they do, and that's why I'm not scared of this deep fake things, because I know they have all of our info already, and if they wanted to do it, they could. So you might as well just, whatever, and just live your life to the fullest.
Right. The far-reaching implication is, as all of us have talked about at this point, is people are gullible. A person can be smart, obviously, as the Men in Black quote goes, but people are dumb, panicky animals.
Yeah.
And, still the prospect of manufacturing propaganda, especially in the 21st century with this advent in technology, is scary because it plays on it goes into play on the ignorance of the masses. So I mean, if there could be one real contention to something being the domino that causes everything to fall down, it could very well be a deep fake. It could be a manufactured assassination. It could be a bomb. It could be anything.
You're right, because we keep talking about like deep fakes as in like being of a person. You know, we keep overemphasizing like of a person, of this person, of this person, of this person. But what we fail to realize is that a deep fake could be of an actual event. You know, an event happening.
And that is fucking terrifying.
I mean, you know,
we've seen one play out before, I think. Wasn't it like 21 years ago? Around like last month, 21 years ago? I don't remember exactly.
I think we've seen a few.
Yeah, I think we've privy to that.
So there was a situation a couple of years ago where Thomson Reuters' Twitter account was hacked. And when it was hacked,
shit, dog.
they posted that Obama had died. Oh, there we go. Well, if we're gonna go there.
Yo, I just thought, just for future reference, we should totally do like a shout out to our FBI, you know, our FBI handler. Like, just be like, hey, I'm doing good, Jim. I'm here. I'm chilling. I'm here with Jim Bob and the boys. So I do nothing to worry about.
Shout out.
I hope he's doing okay, my guy. I'm sure he's doing fine. I'd like to think he's rooting for me.
The ATF guy who watches me probably has a stroke every morning he wakes up.
Yeah.
Luis, all right, I'm digging the
Luis, you got next level shit going on. Okay, he's stepped up.
What the hell is this?
We're here, ladies and gentlemen.
We are here now.
We're here.
This is it.
Didn't that guy show up to his
You'll never
court
eat me
thing
again.
as a cat?
Oh, the cat.
Hakuna Matata. He will never eat me again.
I'm not a cat. Yeah, fantastic.
Luis is gonna become artificial intelligence on the show.
I identify as a
this is actually
CCP.
This is the real Luis. You didn't know, but like what we're seeing is a filter. This is actually
Absolutely. Luis is just a computer program.
You've never met me, have you? None of you have ever met me.
I don't like that voice one bit.
None of you feeble humans have ever actually
John,
met me.
I'm pretty sure that was Bandit's last thoughts on the or not Bandit, I'm sorry, Neptune's last thoughts on, you know, like these deepfakes and stuff. What are your feelings? You know, I know you're in Canada and stuff, but I mean, I think that kind of stuff affects the whole world. So like, what are your kind of
It's just another piece of the dystopian sci-fi reality we're moving towards. Like, it's straight up, I don't know, Philip K. Dick wrote about this shit, and you know, we're living in that stuff. We finally reached the point where sci-fi figured we'd be by like year 2000. We're there. We finally maybe got there, and it's pretty fucking horrifying. But to be honest, I'm more scared of actual bombs dropping from the sky for the next little bit. So the deep fakes, I mean, it's kind of an interesting thing. You could spin it too. Like, you talk about like, I mean, it's horrifying, but it's interesting. Like immortality, and I mean, living on virtually. I don't know. Maybe if we were mega rich, that'd be cool and something that'd be possible with this stuff. But
so we're going to New Zealand, boys. We're gonna take Peter Thiel's compound. Let's go to Peter Thiel's compound.
That's fuck! He's one of them, and then there's
Palantir. Palantir, ladies and gentlemen, Palantir.
Yeah.
They've been predicting the Black Swan event forever.
He's a very bad man. That guy. I didn't know much about him until recently.
I just read his book. It was so outdated because they mentioned a couple of things, and it's hilariously outdated now.
He's the guy that did PayPal with Elon, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
He's part of the mafia.
He's big into immortality. He really, really wants to figure that shit out.
So Polar Bear Luis, from your technical standpoint, there, like, you I guess you think that this technology could be used to start things in a terrible way, I guess.
Well, I'll simply mention that we're getting to the point where people were talking about Web3, semantic web, which is the evolution in relation to commerce. But actually, the real next generation of the web will be when true artificial intelligence really plays a role in the internet, and when this can become invisibly transparent, like it will become as seamless as anything else you do in your life. Everything I'm doing right now will be invisible in terms of the technology we will have. I can really reshape myself into becoming whatever the heck I want. If I one day want to become a supermodel, I will be a supermodel. Victoria's Secret supermodel. I'll be Tyra Banks if I want to. Like the original Tyra Banks from the 90s. I will become that.
I think this kind of ties into mine and your theory we've been talking about a lot with the Biden thing and the ears and the fact that some of these aren't Biden and stuff. Like they're just superimposing his face on there. And then also I'm seeing all over TikTok guys going into some kind of computer universe and being strippers and making actual money. So like you're not wrong. Like people are going to be able to use more of this stuff to make actual money if they know what they're doing.
What it comes down to is like, you really, really, really look at it though, over the last, I would say the last 20 to 30 years, we've been conditioned for this deepfake technology. I mean, look at video games, social media, movies, TV, anything you do in your life right now. You go on social media and be anybody you want and be anything you want. You can go play video games and do an open world video game and be anybody and do anything you want. Movies have been conditioning you to, actors will portray anybody and anything. You've been mentally conditioned for this for the last 20 to 30 years, really. You know, and that's what it comes down to. People are going to readily accept what the media feeds them. Because if you look at the last 2 years, you can really see that a vast majority of people readily accepted with open arms what the media was feeding them as truth. And who's to say what they used was actually real or not? You know, we caught... that's what the internet is good at. You know, we are good at finding out pictures and videos that the media uses, whether or not they're real. We caught them using pictures and videos from movies, video games, TV series, and trying to pass that off to the general public as, you know, the truth.
You mean the ghost of Kiev wasn't real?
You know?
It wasn't video clips?
Yeah. Some of it was a video game clip.
It was a video game clip.
Yeah. So don't worry. You know, the people that are awake to this bullshit, we're doing our own detective work, and we're going to do our best to get the truth out to you.
Yes, I mean that's that's why we're trying to do these things. Like we just get out here and talk about this stuff because nobody else is going to talk about it.
No,
they want to talk about the same stuff over and over again. You know, like just repeated.
Fucking midterms. They want to talk about fucking midterms coming up. That's all people want to talk about. God damn, I'm tired of it,
I'm
man.
talking about let's set sail and do our own kind of thing and have fun as pirates because it works.
What else is left?
What else is left? You know, you're right. But of course, look, you guys, you know where you can find everything for us over there at unconstitutionalawakening.com that gives you links back to Luis and me and Bandit and stuff, and even Neptune over there on TikTok and stuff like that. And we're working on doing even more on over there, you guys. And it also goes back to our sponsors and stuff like that. You can check all that out right there on our website, unconstitutionalawakening.com. And our buddy here, John, man, he said, look, I really like this dude. I'm glad he chooses to spend time with us here recently as much as he gets the opportunity to. You can find him over there on his YouTube at Uncle Johnny TV. He's got
those eyes are haunting.
What about your book? Is your book out?
I mean, book is out there. It's available on ebook and all in all platforms, pretty much. Kindle, Kobo. I got the new TikTok going, third time's the charm. News updates for real. Number 4, because I'm hip like that. And then Jim Bob Show on the Uncle Johnny TV YouTube channel there. So that about covers it.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, we actually, boys, we're at 20,000 followers in one day and 1.2 million views on my video from today. So
Beautiful.
Right now, the algorithm, all praise the algorithm. All praise the algorithm. Yes. Thank you, AI Master.
Yay.
Hopefully it makes a good deep fake of me at the end of this, right?
Hey, I mean, that's
all we
In
can
5
ask.
years, you will be nothing but part of the machine.
Oh my god.
Roscoe's a basilisk.
All right, guys. So, of course,
Where's my hat go?
Of course, we'll see you on the next episode. We'll have more even fun things to do when we get back to that one. But before we get out of here, I gotta have something silly. So, who drives the ship while the pirates are pillaging? No one. No one. They just turn on the autopilot. You guys have a great night. Thank you.